Welcome back. We have seen a significant change in the state's map of COVID transmission overnight, and it appears to actually be some welcome good news. Chicago and Cook County have been moved out of the red into the orange zone range. Now, that classifies our transmission rate as still substantial, but better than high, where we have been stuck for weeks now. McHenry County also has moved into orange. We will get into some hopeful trends in the positivity numbers as well. Right now, I'm joined by our friend, Dr. David Zich with Northwestern Medicine. Good morning to you, Dr. Zich. We just saw this map change with the latest figures from the State Health Department. So does this mean that we are once again successfully flattening the curve?
It certainly is encouraging, that's for sure. We are basically an island in Illinois right now that's showing that trend. And this can easily change. We see these numbers change week to week. It's certainly no time yet to let down our guard, but yes, it's encouraging information.
Yeah, and I was looking, the state positivity right now is 5.1. The city of Chicago is actually under 4 at 3.8. Now, those are numbers we've kind of been following throughout this pandemic, although I know hospitalizations and deaths are the crucial numbers. So overall, how do you think we compare nationwide?
You know, Chicago has been doing a fantastic job really throughout the entire pandemic, and we again seem to be leading the way in good numbers. So we're hoping this continues, but again, we don't want people to become complacent.
Okay, so what's driving this? Is it the vaccine as has been predicted, or is it just that the Delta variant is finally running its course like we have seen happen overseas?
Well, that would be nice if that were the main issue, but we think that there's several things that are going on here. We do have people continuing to get vaccinated. We have some of our immune compromised people getting boosters. But remember, we went back to an indoor mask mandate just a couple weeks ago, and I think all this is contributing to Chicago's good numbers.
Interesting. So can this trend hold and take us finally to the end, do you think, or do you expect to see another spike? There's been a lot of talk about a possible another spike after this Labor Day weekend and with children going back to school, because we keep hearing about an increase in rates in children. I think almost 30% of the new cases are happening in children now.
Right. Unfortunately, it is way too early to be looking at the end. We have a lot of things that we're tracking. You're right. We're waiting to see if the children going back to school is going to spike our numbers as it did in other countries. We still have this big question about waning immunity, and those of us that got vaccinated early, are we going to become more susceptible? And unfortunately, big picture, the World Health Organization is tracking 9 different variants of interest that appear to have genetic mutations similar to the Delta variant that are increasing in severity and might evade our vaccinations. So we are not looking at the end yet, but we are looking at a downtrend, and we'll see where that heads us.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about additional variants that the World Health Organization is looking at. It just makes you wonder, is that going to be a constant threat? Because the flu is never the same every year.
Right, absolutely. And this is the big drive to try to get people vaccinated throughout the world. It's more than just an altruistic hope. As long as there are large areas throughout the world that are unvaccinated and have huge numbers of cases, we will be seeing new variants spread. And when that happens, it can very easily spread throughout the world.
Okay, so we're heading into the fall now, which is typically flu season. It's also football season, and we've been seeing some packed stadiums. Dr. Fauci says packing those football stadiums is not smart, and that he's worried that could cause the nation to be stuck in an outbreak mode. So what do you want people to know? Should people be taking part in indoor and outdoor large-scale events, even if they are vaccinated?
This comes down to individual decisions. So people who are fully vaccinated certainly are at lower risk of getting seriously infected and ending up in the hospital or dying. But they absolutely can still get the illness, and they can absolutely still spread the illness. The biggest thing people have to understand is they need to be responsible. If you're going to these big events and you come home and in a couple days you develop a little bit of a scratchy throat or a little bit of a runny nose, What we're seeing people do is rationalize this away and say, oh, it's just a cold, or it's
Right.
my allergies, and they go about their usual business. COVID in people fully vaccinated has milder symptoms. We need you to be responsible and get tested if you're going to choose to be in these high risk situations.
Okay, let's talk about this. The president is expected to address the nation tomorrow. He's supposed to release a huge plan to stop the spread because of the surge that we've been seeing. I'm just curious, what do you think needs to happen? Do we need to go back to mandates? Do we need to go back to restrictions? Do you foresee lockdowns? What do we need to do to stop this spread?
It has to be a multi-pronged approach. We need to work on getting more people vaccinated, definitely. There's going to be this issue as to when the booster is appropriate. But other than that, that alone is not going to be adequate. We're seeing that from Israel and other parts of the world. We need to still keep our distance. We need to still wear masks. None of us really expect lockdowns to return, but we still have to be cautious with the basic things that prevent spread.
Okay, well, that's hopeful. None of us want lockdowns to happen, so let's hope that doesn't. Let's talk about the boosters, because I have had people saying, I want my booster now. I'm ready for my booster. As soon as I can get the booster, then I am going to get it. And then we've also heard that Pfizer is going to be slow in getting the boosters. So many questions about boosters. When should you get it? And if you don't want to wait for Moderna, which I guess is going to be later in getting the boosters, do you get the Pfizer even though you got the Moderna?
So right now, we're not advising people, first of all, in general, to get the booster because we're still gathering more data on safety and side effects. And a lot of data is saying that it just is not critical right now because you still have a significant amount of immunity, even 6 months after being vaccinated, against severe illness. So we need to wait until a little bit more information is around. We are not recommending people mix the manufacturers, because there isn't enough safety data on that yet. So I would like people to be patient a little bit longer. Don't panic. You still have some immunity from your original, you still have significant immunity from your original vaccine. And over the next few weeks, we'll be getting more information for good, solid decision making.
Okay, finally, as schools are going back, workers are not. There's word many workers may not go back till next year. Why is it safe to go back to school but not back to the office? Or do you agree with that?
So it's a great question. Kids, we did find from last year that schools can safely get kids back in school with certain precautions, including masks, without huge amounts of outbreak. As long as we follow some of our guidelines and our cautions, they still can come back to school. Now, many employers are bringing employees back to work, especially those that are vaccinated and taking their precautions. But there's a big difference. Number one, we found that children just do not learn very effectively remotely. There's a huge drop in efficiency of learning when people are not in school. However, a lot of employers are finding that efficiency and effectiveness doesn't drop significantly when their workers in that sector are working from home. And in some instances, it might actually increase their efficiency. And so certain employers are choosing to not return to work because there isn't the huge incentive to get them back to work in a pandemic.
I have to tell you, I think a lot of people who are enjoying staying home are loving what you're saying, because I know so many people, and I bet you do too, they don't want to go back to the office. That's just the way it is. Dr. Zich, always a pleasure. Thank you for your insight. You have a great day.
You too.